Welcome to Ghazali. Today we have with us a very interesting couple, Debasish and Helene. In Goa, we have some migratory birds coming to lakes which we have and also on the seaside during this time now. During the winter, when it is cold in Himalayas, these birds travel and come to Goa, and they come every year, and they spend this time here, and then when it is summer in the Himalayas, they go back. So these are some kind of migratory birds who have come to Goa, because they spend their summer in Ladakh, and rest of the time they are either in Delhi, Ahmedabad or Assam. Debasish is originally from Assam, and Helene is from France. Debasish finished his education in architecture, and Helene is a graduate of design. Yeah. So let's start with, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you begin your career? How did you start landing up what you are doing? And perhaps how did you two meet?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You can.
During my studies in Ahmedabad, I somehow ended up in Ladakh for volunteering with NGOs, mostly building small furnitures or teaching small school kids in primary school. Somehow it was very hot in Ahmedabad in the summer, so I thought of spending 2 months there. It was back in 2011. So somehow that time I met some people who were interested in cultural restoration, we would say. Then talking about tourism, how to make it a sustainable tourism, because it's a growing tourist destination. So one thing led to another. Then we met more friends, then their friends, and we ended up being there for five years now almost. Yeah.
So how many months do you spend in Ladakh?
Depending on work, we spend 5 to 5.5 months every year, from May till October. This year it was cut short because we had some other work, but we try to spend at least 5.5, 6 months in the.
And how did you manage to get a French girl to be with you in a cold place?
Yeah.
In a cold place like that?
Yeah, that too, so far away from the sea. She
Yeah.
loves the sea.
Yeah.
So
I'm from Brittany in the northwest of France, so I have a strong connection with the sea. So I was happy to come here to Goa and find this again here. I came to India 5 years ago to study transcultural design, and I was fascinated actually with the crafts of India. Coming from France, where crafts and all this handmade is, now it's restricted to extreme luxury. I really wanted to come here, learn from the craft which are still very much alive right there in the streets, and work hand in hand, what the potential it has for design to help the population solve a number of problems. So that's how I came, and for that I was interning in CEPT University in a research lab on crafts of India, and Debasish was finishing his master's in theory and design there, so we met in the campus during earth construction workshop actually in Bhuj in Gujarat.
That is very interesting, because earth instruction workshop and the kind of work you are doing now is also very much to do with earth.
yeah.
Because you are, so tell us now about a few projects which you do in Ladakh. I would also like you to tell the audience, Ladakh is about, where you are working is about 11,000 feet higher. The oxygen is much less there. So what happens when you go there?
Okay. We've been traveling there like every year, like summer, winter. So in the beginning, it is little difficult, like biologically, your body is not adapted to that kind of height and pressure. So a few days are quite difficult actually. Working inside is difficult if you start working right there. Actually, I got sick 2 years back, so I was traveling Delhi, Leh every month. So I thought
That's
it's
by
okay.
flight?
Yeah, by flight.
And you said it is better when you go by bike.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you take the road, it's much better because you climb slowly. So
Usually we drive.
yeah.
That's also like for the acclimatation, and also that way we get to explore like Himachal or places in between.
Let me tell you as a doctor why this happens.
Yeah, tell me.
We have certain amount of red blood cells
Okay.
in our blood, and they absorb the oxygen.
Okay.
So hemoglobin, normally the percentage of hemoglobin is about 11, 12, 13 grams %. But then at that height, the oxygen is much less, so you need more blood cells.
Right.
And so only when you are there for a little longer time, there is an increase in the blood cells in your body.
Right.
So your hemoglobin might go to 17.
Right.
And then it's possible to sort of work there. Otherwise, that's why even the army, they're not suddenly sent to Kargil and to fight, but they're first acclimatized.
Yeah.
So okay, tell us about you said that living there is completely different from living elsewhere. So describe your day, describe Ladakh.
Okay. So since 2 years we are living in a very remote village called Padum in Zanskar region, like Lower Ladakh. It's like 250 kilometers from Kargil, but it takes like a long 14 hours drive to reach. So we feel we are kind of trapped there. We cannot go back unless the job is done, you know. So it's like it's amazing actually. We've been working in a small site. We've been working with the masons and the carpenters, and it's very simple actually. You know, we wake up in the morning, have some eggs and bread. The bread is very good. The local bakers make very nice bread, and we go to the site all day, like all day, literally all day. It's from 8:30, 9. So it's a little walk, like 10
Tell
minutes.
about quality of light there.
It's very, very bright. There's a lot of glare. Like often I'm searching for my sunglasses, and then I realize I am wearing them.
Already wearing them, still there is
Still,
glare.
I'm like, where is my sunglasses? You know?
And what about nights?
Oh, it's crazy.
Zanskar nights, we actually wait for the when there is no moon, because we could see, I don't know, the galaxy.
And you're a little bit nearer because of the height.
Yes. While walking back from the market to our home, we'll walk, looking up, because it's so clear and millions of stars.
And there's no light in the village or anywhere around, so you can really see this cloud.
Absolutely clear sky.
Yeah.
Do you write any poetry?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Because we had a poet called Manohar Sardesai. He has a lovely poem connected with the stars. He says, Naketra, Khincha Kavin, Malba Kagdar, Shipdilli Ujanchi Utra, which is the poet which has sprinkled this letters of fire on this paper of the sky. It's a beautiful poem by Manohar Sardesai. And Tagore says, the stars twinkle to the music of silence. So do you feel that silence too there?
Yes.
Yeah. The silence
Yes.
is amazing actually.
We actually started saying this, like after a point you can hear the silence.
You can hear the silence.
Yeah. It's like you can start hearing the silence, because it becomes so silent and it's nothing. It's that feeling of nothingness. It's nothing. It's your work and you only.
Okay, now I think you have done a very beautiful documentary on this project which you did, where you worked with different colored clays of this region and started doing a mural there.
Yes.
I would definitely like to show the viewers part of this documentary.
Plaster and use the locally available soil to create a different color palette and use it in the old town to draw murals, because we have been saying the old town is drying very fast, so the messages drawn on the murals are extracted from the old town, and because we had used all the locally available resources, it came out as something which is very local, but yet very contemporary in its wider sense.
But tell us about this project. How did you start doing a mural using different colored clays?
Right. So because we started working with architecture, with earth architecture, we started drawing murals. We started plastering walls. So we realized, why not use the same technology to draw on the walls? Because we wanted to do a public art project, and we didn't wanted to use like factory manufactured materials to draw. So we thought of using. It came to us like, why not use the plaster technology to draw on the walls? And we did it on the old town of Leh, and as a response to a rapid urbanization of Leh, the old town is becoming like a ghetto for the migrant laborers to work. So we thought of drawing their faces on the old town of Leh in their houses with clay. and we learned it from actually building construction.
And how did you find different colored clay? So different areas have different colors. How did that happen?
Yeah, so all around Leh, I think in a range of 30 kilometers, you can find this very white clay. I think it's about 80-85% of clay itself. Then there is a town called Basgo, where the clay is reddish, almost purple. So it's just there. We just go and then break it down and mix it up.
Yeah.
We are quite happy of this natural contrast, actually.
Okay, now talk to us a little bit about the houses which you construct there. You have constructed a house.
Yes, yes.
You yourself with your
Yes,
bare hands with some
yes,
help.
Yes.
So the material you said was free.
Yeah,
so let us, we'd also like to show a little bit some pictures of this house.
Yeah.
But talk to us about this
Yeah.
house which you constructed.
It's quite amazing actually. A friend of a friend offered us to build this. So we said, yeah, why not? We were having fun and why not? So we formed a small team of one of our mason Karma, the amazing stone craftsman. Actually, we learned the stone masonry from him, and we started building it. And it's very interesting, you know, like when I talk to my other designer or architect friends, they have to look at brochures for materials or go to the shop to select. But for us, it's very simple. You take a truck, go break it down and bring it. It's that simple, you know. You don't have
Material is free.
It's free, only the cost.
Transportation is
Yes,
the
yes,
cost.
only the transport of the vehicle, and it's like nothing. It's 500 rupees for a truck, and you take a full truck full of flat slate stones or whatever you want, you know.
What are the different types of stones you have there?
Many actually. You know, different compositions, different colors. Like for example, there are stones which you can break and make slates out of them for flooring. There's
Black slate
there are
stone,
black
yes.
slate stones. Then there are igneous rocks almost, which is very hard, difficult to break down. This is for construction of the walls, and there are very minor like chip kind of a thing, like compressed stone, you know, because the Himalaya is growing and there is huge pressure in the mountains. So you can find chips almost, you know, like dust of stones, which can be used for flooring or for roofing, waterproofing. Yeah, different
Now, there's
types.
hardly much rain there.
Yeah, almost none.
I think I'm told about 50 millimeters.
Yeah, I
or
think so.
something,
It's
probably,
very
yeah.
less. Still, but now it's increasing.
It's increasing with climate change and all of that different.
So you use just mud for the roof.
Yes, yes.
So there is no tiles or concrete, nothing.
No.
But what is the size of the house which you constructed, this particular one which you showed me the pictures?
It would be 500 square meters.
500 square meters, a
Yes.
large house.
Yes, it's a large
And
house.
what is the total cost of making this?
If we include laborers
Yeah, labor
and
basically,
labor,
yeah.
mason costs, everything, I don't think our client spent more than 5-6 lakhs.
5-6 lakhs and 500 square meters. So I think I'm planning. I mean, especially people from Bombay and all, they pay not 5 lakhs but 5 crores per.
Yeah.
yeah.
We ended up building a small cafe of 100 square meter for less than 1 lakh rupees.
Recycling the wood.
Recycling the material.
No, that reminds me. I'm right now doing a project on Gandhi, and Gandhi has a very interesting, statement on architecture. He says, "Do not build a house with material which is not available within the radius of 5 kilometers."
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is a wonderful example, almost a Gandhian house, the simple
Yeah,
house.
almost maybe, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm quite fascinated with your research and the methodology which you adopt in sort of exploring histories of villages near Kargil. So especially these two villages you talked about.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about how did you land in Kargil and the kind of, I mean, you
Yeah.
opened up some houses.
Yeah, yeah.
That story is fascinating for me.
Yeah.
So we came to Kargil initially with our respective architecture and design background to investigate about the local architecture and the past of the Silk Route and all of that, and find out who are the people living there. And a friend of us, local from Kargil, told us to go and see this place, Hundarman, which is like 12-15 kilometers northwest from Kargil.
Would like you to show some pictures of this Hundaman.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, and this site
Yes.
where you went.
Yeah.
So we discovered this abandoned village. It's all like in terrace settlement along the ridge of the mountain. So that side is India and the other side of the mountain is Pakistan right now. So actually it was in Pakistan before 1971. And overnight, when the borders were redrawn and pushed,
After the war.
yeah,
71 war, yeah.
the village came to India. So these people had to decide, and they left. So some people packed
Some
their
people
things.
stayed. But
Some
most
people
left.
stayed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Most people left that village and went either to Indian side or Pakistan side with their families, relatives, and so on. So that's how these houses were all abandoned. It's about 25 small houses. And actually they left many items, many daily objects, which we have found that day. Like after
What were the kind of objects? Describe the objects, please.
they have like lamps or cooking
Equipment,
objects.
yeah.
There were still some
Food,
coffee
there's coffee in the
cans.
can, you know?
Coffee.
Yeah,
Biscuit
coffee from
in the,
France.
yeah.
Biscuits. But that reminds me that one of the coffee cans was made in France, your land. How did that French coffee land there?
So actually, I don't think most people know that Kargil was an important post before pre-independence era for trading.
Yeah.
So because it formed the easy route to reach the Central Asian Silk Route, which connected China to Europe.
Yeah.
So Kargil kind of formed the midpoint from where Kashmir, Ladakh, Tibet, everyone could come together and reach the Central Asian Silk Route. So actually, Kargil has a very strong trading history,
Yeah.
and which was suddenly shut down in 1947. And this shutdown actually, the things stopped getting exchanged. So whatever was here remained
So
here,
that explains some
and
of
it
the
didn't go. Yeah,
objects
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Fascinating,
yeah.
fascinating.
Shoe polish from Scotland.
Shoe
and
polish
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Scotland.
Things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Medicines from Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
With this
And
beautiful.
what are you doing with all these objects?
Okay, there are two things to it actually. At this point, we are last year with a friend of ours from Ahmedabad, Jagrut. We started a small museum in the houses, you know, curating it as a small museum, and people are actually going there. Our friend from Hundarman, Ilyas, he is managing it. He's a local guy, and he's managing a small museum there for people to see the history. You know, what is it about? And we are also looking at fictionalizing the objects somehow. You know, creating stories around them, because we feel the museum should not be disconnected with people, you know, somehow. It should not be you go, you see, you come back, you know. So we're creating stories around the objects to create a curated work, which is reality and fiction, you know, some midway of both somehow, yeah.
This is a very fascinating story because, I mean, overnight somebody changes nationalities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you also talked about trees, which were once upon a time Pakistani. The trees became Indian. So you are doing a project with this Indian trees and Pakistani trees.
So we visited other villages along this border, so they have faced similar situations. So we have gone to this one, Turtuk. It's
From
more
the
in
last
north.
village,
Yeah.
yeah.
Village, yeah.
So that is where we found, it's like an oasis if you want in Ladakh, like especially coming from Leh when everything is barren and dry. You reach Turtuk, it's lush green, a lot of flowers. They have 2 crops a season, apricots, honey. So it's really an oasis. And the trees are really beautiful and very old. So we sort of fell in love with them and clicked their portraits because they.
And you
made strong
titled them
impression.
Pakistani tree, Indian
Yeah, yeah,
tree.
yeah.
This metamorphosis also happened in Goa.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Goa became, Goa was liberated only in 61.
Yeah.
So those of us who were born before were once upon a time, we were Portuguese and suddenly we became
Yeah,
Indian.
yeah.
Yeah.
It started as a satire, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to be a Pakistani or an Indian? The
Yeah.
trees doesn't stop giving fruits.
Yeah.
You know, only
The
because
same fruits.
yeah, it's the same fruits.
Gulzar has a lovely poem on it. It says, "Sapnon ke liye visa nahi lagta."
True.
So you basically look at Pakistan there.
Yeah.
But the story which you mentioned,
Yeah.
first let's talk about memory a little bit because I'm also connected in a way with memory.
Yeah.
Because here, when you are doing this objects and you are weaving stories around this, these objects become sort of mnemonic devices. And they are given more meanings. So memory becomes an interesting sort of almost a material for your sculpture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I also work a little bit like that because what I have been doing is buying old boats. Right. And these old boats, which are about 60, 70 years old, they have the textures created by the ocean.
Yeah.
They have the marks of the ropes which were
Yeah.
pulling the nets full of fish. And all these stories connected with the boat becomes a memory.
Yes.
And
Yes.
memory
yes.
becomes sort of a material for sculpture.
Yeah.
But this story which you told me, I think is a very moving story about this man who could see as a little child his parents in Pakistan side. Please describe that story. How old was he when this happened?
He was 5 years old.
Yeah.
What was his name?
His name is Gobali.
Gobali.
Gobali. Goba is means village head.
Village
His name
head.
is Ali.
Okay.
And he became Goba Ali. Muhammad Ali. Goba Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
He's a village head, so he's Goba Ali.
And how old was he when in 71?
5 years old.
5 years old.
About 5 years old.
Yeah.
So what happened, his parents had gone to the next village about like 1 kilometer.
He was a Pakistani then, just to add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some work like the crops or
Okay.
whatever they had to do. And Turtuk, he's from Turtuk, Muhammad Ali. So he remained there with his aunts and cousins. And Turtuk became Indian while the parents were away. So they had to stay on the Pakistani side and they could never come back.
Okay.
So from that moment, they could not meet, they could not see each other. So the army actually helped them, making them climb in the mountains and giving them binoculars so they can actually see better, at least wave and see some expressions, and so the parents could see him.
So this village called Tyakshi near Turtuk, he is living there right now.
Okay.
So he would see his parents with binoculars and they would also
just
see.
a kilometer,
A few kilometers, yeah, one,
kilometers
2
away.
kilometers away. Yeah.
And the binoculars brought them near but
Yes.
could not touch.
Yes.
And that is a very
48 years later.
48 years he
Yeah.
kept watching his parents
Yes.
with only binoculars
Yes.
and could not go.
Yes.
This is inhuman.
This is
And,
inhuman.
there's recently a new museum which is made of partition in Amritsar.
Yes.
I think the story of this man could be just so apt for this
Yes,
museum.
yes. We are really moved by watching at the videos, and he shot a
Then
lot
what
of
happened?
videos.
Then this boy here.
So he grew up in India, and he, while interviewing him, he said he has very good relations with the army, and the army actually helped him to for his education and for his daily life, you know. And he grew up and he was living in Tyakshi and in Turtuk. So
What did he study?
he didn't study much. He studied till high school, I think so. And then he was mostly working with the army. And then he became the village head in the village of Tyakshi.
Okay,
His next village.
he became the village head.
Yeah. Then he wanted to go to meet his parents, you know, like it's something, you know. Then he started his long journey to
Go to Pakistan.
go few kilometers through Delhi, through Islamabad, and through Peshawar, and then riding all the riding all the way to Skardu, and then to his village.
Okay.
To
So he went to Pakistan 2 kilometers. He had to go via Dubai and then to
Islamabad.
and then he walked just to where you could actually see
his own village.
I saw that. I think we should definitely show this little video you have of how his parents hug him. I think that's a very moving video.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Atana butuk sucu.
मुबारक 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 बहुत 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 मुबारक
Mana to se atana angan site ka mulakat so so chogi kha mana astane dekha mulakat
Kangus agar मैं यहाँ थोड़ा एहतियात बरस दो शाबाश 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 शाबाश
Olmali sen çıktar
मुबारक इनाला बहुत बहुत
इताला मुबारक दिया उसी इताला मुबारक
Tuchula olmali olmali mucu bas Goa so
इताला मुबारक
kita ngamar mana tanga na iskani ki mulakat so banjo khoda daregi khupin mana ngai dan lagi khabure
I think it was lovely talking to you, and well, I think the viewers will very much enjoy this. I remember a wonderful poem by Tagore to describe your life. Where roads are made, I lose my way. There are no roads in the sky and there are no roads in the sea. And sometimes I feel the blood which runs into my veins has a yearning of the unknown way. You truly have this yearning of the unknown way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.